Sports HQ here, episode 76. Today we're going to talk about each of our fitness journeys, leading up to what we see at Wichita Parisi now and how things have, moved forward in a lot of the technologies and whatnot. But first, how's everyone doing this morning?
Trying to get my watch to share my information with Denton.
Your fitness information?
Yeah,
You have to do it. You have to do it through your phone in the watch app.
Well, I've done it through my phone, but he says he can do it on his watch, and he gets it on the watch. I've done it on there, and we're on that.
Are you doing a fitness challenge with your brother?
We're just doing it to hold each other accountable.
Oh man, you didn't walk enough steps. Go take a lap, brother. I would have used a different word in that. Sean, how are you doing this morning while you're trying your frog fuel?
Yeah, they popped up on my better than I deserve, but popped up on my Instagram for a while, and you know me, I'm a sucker for a good Instagram ad. But
yeah,
it's so I'm trying them out. They're pretty good.
Are they better than the honey ones that?
Well, I think that's two different things though.
Because one had caffeine.
Yeah, the honey one was like an energy thing.
Yeah,
this is a recovery protein.
Oh, okay.
So it's got collagen in it, a lot of collagen. So I also got some other protein as well, with some collagen as well. This is what I'm drinking here is Noble or something. It's like beef-based protein, so it's not whey.
Oh yeah, how does that taste compared to the whey?
It's not bad.
Not bad?
It's I mean, it's not the tastiest thing in the world, but it's not awful.
Sure.
It's not as sweet as some of those really the GNCs and the some of the stuff we sold here, but it's pretty good, and I'm not going to complain about it. So I'm trying to the whole grind with the Taco Bell every night was doing its number on me, so I'm trying to get back in. I have waves of eating better, so I was like, well, let's try to
keep it consistent.
Yeah, so this stuff I'm trying, and then this other stuff I'm trying. It's one of those everything's subscription based now, so
yeah,
I'll buy it and get a new delivery in another 2 months or whatever,
and then you'll forget about it. And then all
like the protein bars I got last year.
Extras.
No, yeah, I still have protein bars when I was doing that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't eat them as quick because I always forget them. They're just chilling in my closet. But yeah, this is. I mean, you guys. Well, you haven't tried it yet, but you tried it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
It's a little. I mean, it's got it's not sour or anything, but it's got a little berry to it, kind of a fruity flavor ish.
Yeah.
To me anyway.
It says rip it and sip it. But
yeah.
And that's what I'm doing. So
ribbit and sip it.
I'm trying to feel if it's recovering me at all. I don't
yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, in this little pack, you got 15 grams of protein and 22 amino acids. So,
well, I guess we should look into
More should
what
I
Frog
give you?
Fuel offers, all together. Maybe we can, give them a shout out and get some cool product.
Send us some product. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
Do our own style overviews.
yeah, maybe our fascia will just be so built that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
They want it. Yeah, there you go.
We'll just
100%.
be our partnership, And then, we're picking up steam on some sponsors.
Yeah.
We got hats and
Are we eating
shirts from
applesauce
old
now?
Jesse. Yeah.
Speaking of Jesse,
Yeah.
there he is.
Good big comment in there. Yeah.
Just
Back
showing
in-
why he's our top fan.
Yeah, back
Yeah.
in the saddle in the classroom. Took a couple days off. Did some networking yesterday. Should have seen that guy.
How'd that go?
He's got to learn how to just be okay with that many people.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through that as well, but people started coming up and talking, and then when we got in line to go eat, same people talking to us, and oh yeah, this. I actually met the old announcer for the Wind Surge for the first 4 years.
Oh.
I told him if he wants to call a couple games, to let me
Yeah.
know. I might know a team.
Valley Center.
Maybe Valley Center.
Wow. You don't want Kellen back? Hopefully Kellen doesn't watch this.
Oh shoot!
Oh, I do.
Kellen.
I mean, I like Kellen.
Yeah.
So
I thought we were talking PA announcer.
he does all of that.
I know,
does
but
that too?
but then he could focus on the one or the other. It's all right. Whatever. I want Kellen back. Kellen was great. Kellen was great.
I hope he does come back. He was trying to get a couple internships somewhere. I talked to him not too long ago.
Yeah, Kellen was awesome at the Summer Ball Showdown and all season long.
Yeah,
Just
he was
to
great.
Valley
Center, we just had the riches of talent.
It was.
I mean, obviously we didn't.
He was
win
singing
a
the national
championship
anthem
or anything, but
and
I'll text
all that
Kellen
good
right
stuff.
now.
There you
Hey,
go. Hey,
Hop on the
hey,
pod.
He's like, whoa.
yeah, we should get him to hop on the pod, give us a little national anthem.
Get him on.
Preview.
Actually, we open the podcast
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sing. All right.
Oh man, he
You
might.
just see our crotches. in the camera.
He'd be down. He'd be down to
Like
do that
that.
more than likely.
Oh yeah, he was
Do the national anthem, not our crotches. in the
He's.
camera.
I think he's definitely got a bright future ahead of him in the
He's a funny guy. Man.
broadcasting. He's
Yeah.
he's got the mindset for it. He's got
Yeah, he does a good job.
the passion for it. So
I heard ESPN was looking for people here. In
don't
town.
work at ESPN. Oh, the ESPN Wichita's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, our guy Pat Strathman.
Yeah.
Was asking.
ESPN Wichita's great, but I was talking about.
You're talking about the main-
Worldwide.
Yeah, that's. You go work it. I don't know, somewhere else.
All right,
Base
so
fail sucks.
Yeah.
so Sean, you wanted to talk about fitness
McAfee.
journeys. So why don't
He's
you
good.
lead us with that?
Yeah. So we're talking about things we can go over, and I decided maybe I'll come up with an idea for once.
Episode 74.
yeah.
Sean's
76.
great idea. 76.
76.
Sean's idea
76.
is finally here.
Yeah, I feel like have I came up with an idea maybe
Probably.
once.
I don't know.
Not very many times. You definitely count them on 1/3 of your hand. So
1/3 of your hand.
yeah. So I figure we kind of go around, kind of share what our fitness journey has been, and we'll kind of talk about the pros and cons of each thing, and at least from what we know. Obviously, we're biased towards a certain training for youth now, which we are 100% belief in, not just because it's our livelihood, but kind of, I think there's a problem. I think if anybody's on, follows a bunch of fitness people online, you get a lot of information. Instead of like taking pieces from everybody, we got to like argue about which is the best way. And like everybody's different. So however you get, however you get the work in and move your body, that's the biggest and most important thing before we kind of get into this. So, for me, I grew up playing sports, running around all the time outside. I very rarely was inside. And then, as I got to, I grew up, they told us to not start lifting too early because you'll stunt your growth or whatever. I don't know where that came from, but
Well, came from that person's uncle who
Yeah.
used to do this, and then he was a
Stunned your
guy that he
makes-
knew that was a coach at this place that did a really good job this one time, and so like they started talking to these other people,
verified sources.
and then
Yeah.
basically, that's why we do it
And
because
I-
they said so.
Also grew up getting told that, if you want, don't like trust any supplements. If you want to get bigger, just eat a peanut butter sandwich. Which,
Oh,
don't get me
goodness.
wrong, that's fine. You can eat peanut butter sandwiches; they're fine. But that's not the key. It's not that much protein, by the way. And then I started lifting in 7th grade for like football weights. That was kind of my first introduction to that. I was super skinny, super skinny. So not very strong, obviously. And I did high school weights pretty much just whether it was in gym class or which I didn't go hard in gym because I did the weights that morning, and for the team weights, which I went hard in, and we did like, your agility, the ladders, cone drills, sometimes stuff like that. Kind of your general school / sport fitness you kind of get, and it was, it was fine for the time being. I just didn't see a lot of growth in that. Obviously my body was growing a lot during that time, so that factors into it as well. But
What were you, 6'1"?
well, when
Freshman?
freshman year I was like 5'9".
Oh.
Yeah,
was
your
five-
height right now.
I was 5. I think I was 5'2", maybe.
I didn't get over. Well, it's like between football and track. My like sophomore year, I grew like 3 inches. Started to grow a lot then, but I did get stronger. It was a good like kind of base, good starting point, and then went to college and I got sent. So after I committed and going into the summer, I got sent a weightlifting program from my school to start doing. So that was kind of cool to like have a sheet and see what we were about to get into.
I need to go through Braden's. Garden City just sent him his, and he sent
Oh.
it to me yesterday.
Yeah, sure. Just interrupt my story.
Forgot
That's
about
fine.
that. Thank you
Cool.
for that reminder.
Rude.
Um,
I was locked in listening to your story.
yeah, but
Well, your journey has already begun.
okay. Yeah, so going into my freshman year of college for playing baseball, got into the program there, lifting there, and that was all I was doing. I wasn't doing really anything on my own. I had a few teammates who were doing stuff on their own, going to the Y because we had like memberships through the school, but I was just kind of focusing on getting acclimated. I wasn't taking lifting all that seriously yet, other than kind of still treating it as something I did as a team, and I knew I had to do it to get a little bit stronger. So I would, and obviously eating a lot of food at the calf and I gained a lot of weight that first semester. Not a lot of good weight, but I went from I came in 168, and at the end of the first semester, I was already 200 pounds.
Are we talking college?
Yeah, freshman year of college.
So back us up a little bit into your high school stuff. Were you just a kid having a good time, and then when you got into college, it got serious for you? Or
well, I mean, I still took it seriously. I took the lifting seriously, but as far as like trying to diet and getting enough protein, I just ate what was in front of me. So whether that was school lunch or what my mom made me or where we went out to
happy
eat
plates everywhere.
after the game, my mom made good food, but I ate my fill of it. But like I wasn't I wasn't
Yeah.
digging into that, trying to keep track of my protein. I really wasn't keeping track of my protein for the longest time until maybe sophomore year of college, and I wasn't eating super healthy. I was just kind of trying to keep track of that. And then going into freshman year, it was actually that second semester of my freshman year, I was on JV, as I was pretty much my entire career, but and so the varsity guys, once the season kicked off, they had a lot of more mobility type workouts with the team. They maybe had like one lifting day and then more just mobility and stretching days. But us JV guys and the redshirt guys who weren't playing, we were like, Moto was his name. He's at a D1 school now, I think, strength wise, but he was great. He's building great workouts for us. We'd go at least 3, maybe 4 times a week, and I mean, I was making gains. It was like the first time I was like experiencing some like legitimate, trap bar deadlifts, like stuff like that, like seeing some real like gains and progress each time. It was a good program we were on, and I was like, okay, I want to take this more seriously, because I felt that I turned a lot of that kind of maybe bad weight I gained in the first semester. And I had room to grow, of course. I was very tall and skinny, so it's not like I got fat, but there's some of that bad weight into better weight. And then I worked at that summer I worked at a feed mill, my dad's feed mill that he works at, and so I kind of lost a good amount of weight, but I was still lifting 5 times a week by myself. So I was doing
You're farm strong.
yeah, I was doing the weights program with Briarcliff, and then doing kind of my own thing. I think it was about the next year I started lifting with my brother, doing some other stuff, but that year I was kind of just doing still the team stuff, and then some days like on my own, adding in a few things. And sophomore year, I got around my like current group of friends that I have now from college, and they were always like doing their own thing lifting. So I started doing that with them and going with them. We did 4 or 5 extra days a week of lifting while doing the team stuff, and started to take that more seriously and build some more strength. But it was, I guess it'd be closer to that kind of more power lifting, bodybuilding type hybrid training that a lot of kids do. It's just, okay, let's bench, let's do chest, and back, let's do chest and tries, back and bis, legs, arms, mixing, and shoulders, mixing those as well. I didn't really take shoulders seriously till maybe like end of my senior year when I stopped playing. But so yeah, that was kind of the main thing. And then I just started going hard by myself. That following year, going into my junior year, me and my older brother lifted together a lot and got really into like Olympic lifts. Like he was doing snatch and hang clean with me, and I hated that. And I couldn't do snatch with a crap. I had no mobility, so that I didn't like doing that at all. But that's when I got going more on conventional deadlift and liked that a lot, because once again I just saw a lot of gains in that. And then that's kind of the style that I kind of stuck with. Definitely powerlifting for a while. Like my junior and senior year of college, it was I'm just trying to get as strong as possible in the weight room, and get more numbers, push those, and then thinking that would kind of help me with my sport, and it didn't. It didn't really, because I didn't really. I got stronger, but I didn't get, I guess, like no rotational strength. Like I didn't get stronger for baseball, you know. So if I would go back, I'd train more baseball specific and get more mobile, because I was still so tight all the time, you know. And so I could swing the bat hard, and when I made contact, it was good. It was just, but like training more reaction, more rotational strength, and more anti-rotation as well would have helped a lot. But so then, since I got out of college, it's been a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I've just kind of been trying different things, but mostly kind of stuck with that kind of powerlifting base where I'm just trying to chase numbers for the most part. And, you know, after hurt my back for the 900th time on deadlift, I started to rethink that just a little bit.
And you still do it today.
Well, yeah, but I don't do it as much, and I kind of cleaned up my form a lot more, and I don't try to go balls to the walls maxing out for reps, or I mean, I'll do reps more often than I do heavy. But I did, you know, I hit 500 the other day, so I'm happy about that. The form wasn't too terrible, so 495 actually looked really good form wise. So I was cool with that, and I'm not too worried about chasing that too much and trying to max out on bench every once in a while. Squat, my knee can't really handle it, so I do focus more reps on squat and do different types of squats. But now in the last, I would say, year or so, we've gone from more like just like Sheldon, me and Sheldon lift quite a bit together, and you know we've gone away from focus a lot more. You know, we use those tidal tanks a lot, focusing more on rotational, core stability, balance. And the way I see it is I'm practicing more what I preach to the kids and doing more movement days, more linear speed, more change of direction stuff. So some more single leg strength, single leg balance, and ankle, foot strength. So kind of the stuff we teach here, I try to incorporate that with some of the like body, because I'm still trying to move some weight too and stay strong. So more of a hybrid training at this point, but I've tried different stuff. Like I've gone running. I've been on some kicks where I'm running a bunch, which I don't like, but sometimes I'm just like, let's just do it.
Sprinting and running are very different.
Right. So like I'd go jog.
Aerobic, anaerobic.
Yeah. I've been doing the aerobic training before with the jogging and just tried some other things. And that's just what I'll see stuff on social media. I'm like, I want to try that more. But right now my biggest focus is actually like the workout is going to come and I'm going to get reps in and stuff. But my main focus is mobility, whether that's upper body or lower body mobility. So just my body's been feeling a lot better with that. And so, and then whatever I get in for the lift is if it, maybe I just have like more of a rep goal than I have a number goal some of these days. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with mine, and we can kind of pass the baton on to Dave for his, because
mine's gonna be
interesting.
Mine's gonna be quite different than both of yours. Maybe closer to Sheldon's, just because of our age difference. But phones having internet and influencers having their impact per se on instant gratification and stuff like that. I started lifting when I was like 14 or 15, and I never really took it seriously. And then once I realized what sport I wanted to play, I started taking it seriously. So back in the day, we had to, rely heavily on our sport, the coach for that sport. Like if they wanted you to do this, they wanted you to do that. You had to do that. I was lucky enough to have a coach who knew the bigger, faster, stronger type stuff, but also implemented explosive movements and agility movements. So for me, when I got into high school, it turned into, hey, you can go to the 0 hour, get that extra work in, and then show up for your lifting class, which with our football coach. And go through those core movements and stuff like that. So deadlift, bench press, all of that fun stuff. I never really took bench press seriously because our coach had always preached, lower half, lower half, lower half, explosive. We used to call it a buffalo hit when you'd run the hip sleds or do a squat, just explode through that.
You guys have, hold on, one quick question. You guys have like a jammer? You have a jammer?
Jammer.
Do you ever?
I know what that is.
Yeah.
I
You guys didn't
I don't
have-
think so.
don't know that we had it at our high school.
Yeah,
But
we had
I've
one.
seen 'em.
We had one of those. It was interesting, and I would think it'd be it's pretty good for like football. I don't know.
About the only thing. it's
Yeah,
good for.
I mean you can kind of do a little bit of rotational strength on it, but yeah, pretty much kind of just work on that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So,
It's definitely a lineman's
Yeah,
type.
I mean, we had
thing.
the hip sleds that you could load the gym in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Put
just
all the- put all the weight on,
yeah,
yeah.
and go from there. But I never got too serious into that. I mean, I like to. My parents really encouraged me to enjoy the sports I played. So I played baseball, soccer, football, track, tennis.
and
just
WWE.
on the trampoline in the backyard. Yes. But
real.
I grew up in the era where get outside, go ride your bike, run to your friend's house, come home when the lights turn on, the street lights. If you hear
Yes.
the dinner bell going,
I feel like my like growing up was like the last generation because it was like changing during my generation to what it is now.
yeah, I mean, cell phones weren't even a thing for me until I was like 14 or 15.
Yeah, you're.
He's
He's dating himself, ladies. And
so getting that access to the internet to look those things up really took a long time,
Yeah.
especially when a phone call came in and it kicked you off the internet. But as we yeah, exactly. But once I got my junior year, when I decided that it was really just going to be football, and then I'd have my spring sport be tennis or track. It really just depended on if my coach wanted me to be there for track, or if he didn't give a crap and let me go work on some agility moves for my tennis game, which is kind of fun.
that makes sense.
But
That
then once
actually
I-
makes a little bit more sense than. All right, we're just gonna go out for track. 'Cause
yeah,
we're
be a thrower, so
Yeah,
you can
like,
you
go-
can do
go do
this.
tennis
you can,
and
yeah.
move your feet around side to side a little bit.
But also, I was in the era where if you were on any type of line, they wanted you to be of weight, like a certain weight. I think my high school O line was no less than 265 pounds all the way across. I mean, tight end, obviously, no, but just regular
Yeah.
offensive line. And then as I was a long snapper, I was 210 in high school, I believe. I graduated high school at 210, and then when I went to college, it got really intense there. Like they started meal planning us. Like, hey, I need you to be at 260. I need you to be able to move this. I need you to move that. Do those kind of things. And so I kind of went down the personal training path of that. Once I separated both shoulders at the same time, I knew I needed to be in the gym and working on flexibility or just overall functional fitness. And then
What was kind of the difference? So I think this is a cool topic because we were baseball, and so like for football, what was your experience like switching from the high school weight room and then showing up to college for like the college side of it? Like what was different there? What was the culture like? Like what like for somebody who might be listening, that's like, I'm the high school football player out at whatever school, and I'm getting ready to make that transition. Like what'd that kind of feel like?
So being at From Derby, the largest high school in the state, maybe at the time, maybe it still is, and
Yeah, I don't know.
playing
It's big.
and playing 6A, you still have your dogs in your gym or the weight room for your high school, but walking into the college side of it, and I would never say like I'm a grown ass man walking out of graduating high school, walking into college, but walking into college, there's grown men just walking around. They all lift heavier than you do. They're way more mature than you are, and it's good to be open and willing to learn. But the difference in in the programs were substantial. I mean, it's a leap even in, even in the smaller side of things. We had a structured schedule that I had to follow. Hey, you're up at 5, you better go eat. Practice at 6. We're doing some walkthroughs. Then, hey, good luck. Get your shower. Go get some treatment. Go to class. Check in at noon because you have to eat before you go to practice, and then practice for a couple hours. Then, hey, if you have a job, good luck. Ask your coach to write you a note for being late because you jacked around and you got to run. Different things like that. But the culture step is huge. I mean, now I see more programs that have, hey, here's what our high school does, so now we're going to trickle it down to the youth. We never had that. So you had your group of OCs and DCs that ran your youth football programs, just trying to go beat up on everybody else. But now it's the similar programs all the way down, so they can grow you into whatever it needs to be. And the step into the college world was like mind blowing. How many different things to relearn. Even though I was a special teamer, I still had to be prepared to be on scout team.
And he was special on and off the field.
Did you guys do anything like being? Because I'm guessing, like in college, obviously I haven't run for a football program per se, but who'd you work out with? I guess is my question. Like, were you guys all together just as special teams guys, or were you on the defensive side, offensive side? Did you work out with just linemen? Like, how did that kind of work?
So in the preseason stuff, I got to hang out with the linemen.
Okay.
But my warm ups were done with like your faster groups, like the special teams guys, and like your wide receiver guys that run down and just
skilled dudes.
Yeah, skilled people. Punters though, man, those guys. I'll tell you what, they had it made. Kickers and punters, they were just like, yeah. Let me just get this bag of footballs and go sit down. Hey man, you gotta run stairs for 20 minutes. Cool. That's it. But I still had to understand the formations needed for certain things on the special team side. So I had to be with the skilled guys for warm up, and then go for like the scout team side of offense. Never really messed with the defensive guys, even though like my hall was full of defensive guys were in my dorms. So, we would talk about that stuff. And then my roommate was a receiver. So that was weird, like him talking to me about the offensive plan.
That's a whole different side of the game. Basically.
And then I'm like, you do understand I just snapped the ball between my legs and then just stand still because there's, back then there was no halo rule. So you could collapse down, you could jump on the snapper. If my head's down, I am screwed. And that's really what separated my shoulders. Because I had 300 pounders collapse on me and night, 8 months, couldn't wipe my own butt, But anyways, into the after playing days, like I like to say that I worked out from the age of 14 till I was 35 because I tried to stay competitive with things. Everybody says it's an underhand game, but I feel like we played slow pitch and made some cool things happen. And taking care of my body. I helped pay for my college by being a personal trainer. I trained some friends that wanted to be in the physique world or whatnot, and that was a lot of fun. And then for me, functional fitness is the most important. Your foundational things and stuff like that. Leading into the Parisi training, where I was like, wow, that's really what that's called. Because I grew up just learning all of that stuff. So, but I took like a 3-year hiatus. Sheldon used to bug me, hey man, you should get in the gym. Hey man, you should get in the gym. I was just worn out, and I kind of got back into it last year, and then we got busy, and I haven't been consistent. And that's for sure.
Oh, we know, Dave. Sheldon.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
Point the finger. Well, that's cool. What while you were doing because I know like you and Joe obviously worked out together there for a little bit, and you guys always, where do you think you've come up with your? Not come up with, because I know it's not like you're not making it all up out of just random stuff, but like you guys would always do very unique functional things. Where did that kind of motivation come from? Like, was that just through things you found online? Like, where'd you pull some of that info from?
So when I was doing functional fitness stuff in college, you have a lot of different like bodybuilder things that you can look up. I had like the Arnold book and trying to understand like how to hit certain muscles in a certain direction or
Schwarzenegger?
yeah. And so
The governor of California.
Did you mean Palmer? Like
the
what other
former-
Arnold?
yeah. So
That was the
utilizing that information, then when I was in school, I took like an athletic training course where the teacher was really into like we'll call it kinetic movements that or slow movements that hit certain areas for resistance training, and then your reverse resistance and stuff like that. It really helped me understand like the overall functional side of why this works this way and how your arm slows down, and when you build out those workouts, you can be explosive, and then you can also stress your body out to a certain extent. I mean, I've put Sean through a couple things
Yeah.
and
good.
and things like that, but
Yeah, it's not like it's off the wall, but it's just like
it's different.
it's a variation in some
Yeah.
aspects. Like when you see certain things that you're doing, like they're unique variations that you're like, oh, okay, like that's just a because I think anything in the gym obviously gets redundant, like it's just
Yeah.
kind of you do a lot of the same stuff. So when you can do, different, regressions and progressions to make things just a little bit different, it's like you're kind of, oh, okay, light bulb goes off. This is fun. Like, okay, do it a little bit different this time, hold it longer, stress it more, whatever.
Yeah, I think when I went through the Parisi certification the first time, I kind of nerded out on all the videos, just kind of watching some of that stuff and piece parting a few things here and there to put them together to see what they would do to the body.
Mhm.
Like experiment it and then watch what it would do. And quite honestly, like I used to kick Joe and I's ass all the time, and that was wild. Minimal weight and having to walk up the stairs afterwards was very interesting and stuff like that. But no, I'm inspired by the functional side of it, because flexibility is such a huge thing now that I never learned back when I was younger. And when I wanted to implement that into my own workouts or for others, it's to me that's important, because the older I get, the stiffer I get, and when I can't move, that's on me for not focusing on the functional side of things. So
Yeah, and kind of to go off what Sheldon said a little bit earlier, like obviously we have a lot of good training aids here. We have the tidal tanks, you have a bunch of resistance bands, we have the sleds we can use in a different bunch of variations, and
Velocity sensors.
well, I know
If we want to get to the cool
that
stuff.
too. We got that technology. We have as far as like machine, like we don't have a lot of machines. We don't like where we don't, but we have racks, we have weights, we have dumbbells, and guess what? You can do a lot of things with just one dumbbell. You can do a lot of things with just a kettlebell. You can do a lot of things with a barbell, even that people don't even really think about, right?
make you do tidal tank flies.
You can do tidal tank flies, man. You can use those for in a bunch of different ways. Like, no, we don't have machines that maybe target a specific muscle and get the best stretch, but we're also not a bodybuilding gym, or we're not a commercial gym either. And I think that's what's really cool.
But
For me,
machines also create limits.
they do, depending on the machine, you might like I have a different range of motion on a machine than Sheldon does, and so to have it as a one size fits all, it doesn't. And then we have the Kaiser as well, which is nice to do a bunch of different things on. You could do core strength on that. You can do flies. You can do lat pull downs. You can do all kinds of different stuff on that. And
It's a full
but
body.
what's
for sure.
fun to me is like seeing stuff and then trying to do the stuff that either Dave shows me, Sheldon sees, I see, another one of our coaches sees online, and then trying to do that with whatever we have. And then trying to make it work, because sometimes we have the stuff, sometimes we don't, and then you just kind of figure it out as you go along, and then oh shoot, that hit this a little bit more, that hit this a little bit more. And it's not like to go off what you were saying too with the now that you're more fascinated with the functional thing as well as am I, you know, it's stopped worrying about just like, obviously I want to look pretty good. I'm not worried about being absolutely shredded because I don't want to eat well enough for that. But, you know, and I want to get stronger, but after you more focus on the whole body and each system being as healthy as possible, as instead of just your muscles.
I want big biceps.
Right. And not everybody's like that. I understand there's a lot of bodybuilders who take
Well, I got about 30 minutes, so I'll dive in.
Don't take mobility really seriously as well. But I'm just like, for me personally, it was like I just wanted to push weight and I wanted to get stronger that way and hang my hat on that. Well, guess what? You're always going to be chasing uphill battle because you're almost never going to be the strongest person in the room. And I also recommend you not being the strongest person in the room because then you have somebody to chase over and over again. You have somebody to chase after, even if he calls you little boy all the time and all that stuff. But so I lost my train of thought there. But the biggest thing is focus, because the way your body's going to feel better. Because like I was chasing a lot of numbers with deadlift because that was the one thing that I could do at a gym, and I might actually be the strongest person in the gym that day with deadlift, and then I'm maybe doing a different day and the guy comes in that does 7 or 8 plates and I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not. But like I could feel strong. That's my ego lift for the day. And or like, you know, throwing a bunch of weight on the leg press or throwing a bunch of weight on squat, and that's your but then 2 days later your lower back's torn, like feels like, especially as a tall guy like I am, your lower back hurts, and then you get that feeling a little bit better, but then you tweak your glute, and then, you know, it's just like you're always nursing something when you're training that way. And I, you know, now focusing more on preparation, making sure all of, you know, the skeletal system feels better, the core is getting worked out, the muscles feel good, the fascia system feels better, your tendons start to feel better. Now it's just about trying to figure out what to do for my knee. But other than that, I mean,
you know, when I got into the Parisi stuff, the form side of things really jumped out at me. And then and you know, when I've been down there and you're working out, if I like, hey man, you know, fix your form or whatever, that kind of thing, that in itself has been I guess just a routine changer, something to relearn. Because, you know, when I was lifting and I was going consistently at it, you know, just changing my form on bench from what I had learned to the new style that helps, you know, isolate the muscle group and help you grow it. I pretty much went up in strength without using my shoulders, which would be just dead.
yeah.
After a typical bench press, you know, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I love the Parisi side of things. I still dig into it, even though I'm not like heavily involved. But just if I want to nerd out, see what's new.
Totally.
Sheldon,
Total nerd.
Let's
bunch of nerds.
Let's hear about Mr. Sheldon, who, of course, I will humbly say is the best athlete out of the three of us. I'll give it to him,
I just want to be big. No. Dave and I share in some similarities just because of age, right? Like, we're not too far off of each other in age, but like growing up, like we didn't have, you know, like we quite literally would get home and be outside until you couldn't be outside anymore, and then you would come back and, you know, essentially eat dinner, go to bed. Like that was, you know, do homework, whatever it is. But like we didn't have internet, we weren't playing video games, you know, so the activity that we were doing on a day-to-day basis was just constantly building and repairing our athletic foundations, and we didn't even know that it was happening. You know, like it was just something that was part of what life was like at that point in time.
You knew, if the first time you stepped in a weight room, you still knew how to move.
100%.
Like, you know,
yeah.
what we see with a lot of kids is even some of them who are 13, 14 years old, they haven't been doing, you know, they haven't been going outside and playing their whole lives.
They're super good with their dexterity here. And,
right.
You know,
but they'll come in and they don't know how to, they can kind of move, but they just don't know how to move.
I always think it's funny because like, I don't vividly remember this like to a T, but I, without a doubt in my head, can remember, you know, if I was younger and somebody was like, hey, do a push-up, and I'm like, well, I don't know what a push-up is. And they were like, well, you lay on your stomach and you pick yourself up.
Push yourself up. Okay.
I could lay on my stomach and push myself up.
Yeah.
No problem. I didn't know what it was. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't know anything. We could take 15 kids today and say, hey, lay on your stomach and do a push-up.
They cannot do it.
None of them could do it.
They
right.
can maybe push their chest up, but their hips ain't coming up.
They
either.
couldn't. They don't
Or
have.
they got
Or
the
yeah, they
big-
get the
big
butt
butt.
up in the air.
They
yeah.
don't have the
Yeah.
relative body strength or the mechanical base to be able to do very basic functional movement patterns. And that's just one example. I mean,
Yeah.
there's probably 100 more that we can come up with,
Oh, yeah.
right? So that's like one of the big differential factors I think that you see, now in this day and age compared to when I was growing up on what it was, right? Like I could lift my body weight, move my body weight, roll my body weight, like I mean, just literally whatever it was. Now, granted, I wasn't a huge kid growing up either. I
We
didn't.
know.
I didn't see a weight room until I was a freshman in high school when I walked in and, to the first weights class ever. And I was like, what in the world? Like never seen a bench, barbell, dumbbell, like not even because, again, we didn't have the internet. So it wasn't like I was, seeing
Preparing
it online,
for
like
it.
seeing other kids lifting. Like all I knew was it was sports related and it had something to do with sports because obviously we were going to be doing it. So I remember I do remember walking into the weight room as a freshman and being like just shell shocked. Like, I don't know what any of this shit is. Like, I have no idea. And then they throw you into a couple groups and, you got some older guys in your group, whatever, and they're kind of, walking you through as the PE teachers over there kind of hollering about what we're doing that day, whatever. And just, you just intake all of that information as quickly as you possibly can and just do what you're told kind of a deal. Probably all incorrectly, had no idea what the actual technique side of things was and was just kind of going with the flow. And so that's what, essentially my freshman, sophomore years kind of look like. My junior year in high school was when I kind of started taking things a little bit more seriously on that side, but I was definitely still probably more along the lines of 80-90% more sports specific heavy at that point in time, right? Like hitting and throwing at the field, taking ground balls, like, because I was dedicated to playing baseball. Like, that's all that I cared about doing. In summer times, winter time, like, it didn't matter. Like, I was doing more so of that. Lifting in high school wise, I lifted in high school just so I could look good and try to stay, as visually pleasing for girls as possible. Like, that was my only motivation. I had no idea how it was going to help me in baseball. I knew nothing about it. Like, I did not know anything. Like, all I knew was, hey, try to get stronger, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but just lift it and do it. So there wasn't really any type of plan for me outside of that. So when I finish up high school ball, I'm showing up for my first college weights, and at that point in time for baseball anyway, pretty much my entire college career was circuit training. Like that literally was it. Like
Not really.
It was pure circuit training the entire time. So that's really all that I knew then too. So we show up, and really that's kind of what we did in high school too. There was a little bit of probably some power development that was kind of part of their plan, but that's not how it was explained. We were in groups of 4. We would be there for however many minutes and then switch to the next station. College was really no different for me. You showed up as a team lift. Here's all of our stations. We're going through all of them, and then we're here for an hour, so we're switching.
Well, what were the things you did in the circuit, I guess?
Probably core lifts.
A little bit of everything. Yeah. So we were limited. I would say that our gym that we have here was relatively similar. We had a few more machines, but we did machine lifting, rack lifting, little bit of med ball work, but it wasn't med ball work like you would actually do for explosive work that we do today.
Yeah.
The med ball work that we were doing then, we may have done some slams, but it was more of core related stuff for sure. Yeah, rotational stuff, but it wasn't even. It was just a station. Like, it was just another
Like
station.
you sit back to back
Yeah.
with somebody and pass.
Yeah,
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
toe touching with the ball, holding the ball with your feet.
Just holding balls,
Yeah, stuff like that. It was, but we were paired up in twos, and you essentially, I don't remember the times, but 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, kind of a thing. and you would go to the next machine.
Yeah.
And so we literally used every machine in the weight room though. So like there was no purpose behind the days. It was, just hey, this is what we have to use. You're getting your hands on every single one of these things. And then we would switch and go around.
I would say, I mean, we were technically circuit training, but it wasn't circuit. I mean, we just would be, here's what our lift is today. You have to do this many sets of this many sets of this. So we'd have our compound lift.
Yeah, no.
So like a front squat, or it'd be a hang clean, or it'd be a shrug.
That's
or
showing your age.
Oh, yeah,
So you're
yeah.
But
10 years younger.
So
And then or a squat of some sort, or a bench, and then we would do usually a shoulder mobility band, and then something with a dumbbell, whether that's a row or a farmer carry. And then usually like neutral grip chin ups or something along the lines of that, or some ankle mobility. So like that was kind of what we did. So yeah, I would say quite a bit different.
So we
way different.
When we did our lifting program in high school, we had weeks, and then that's like I learned what a deload is after high school.
Yeah, we did.
So we had our weeks of, you know, we're going to work on explosiveness, then we're going to work on our strength, and then we're going to have our, you know, our, I guess, flexibility or agility type stuff, and then you'll have your deload week. You know, we always had those things different days as we were in school doing, you know, I mean, for me it was 3 days a week plus 0 hour, so I could be ahead of certain things, and actually the 0 hour helped me get more of the one-on-one type stuff, because not every kid wants to get up and go to school at 6 to do that stuff. But
yeah, we didn't. If we did have that, I either don't remember it or I wasn't involved with that side of it, which is possible. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, circuit was. I mean, at Butler we would split up and we would have, you know, pitchers would go and do their thing. They would be a group, and then all position players were a group. And every single day at 4:30, 5 a.m., we go into the whatever the hell they called it, and we would just split up. One group was doing agility work and running. The other group was lifting, and we'd go through every single station, and then once we were done lifting, we would go over to running, and vice versa. And I always remembered, I was like, God, dude, I just hope we run first. Like, I don't want to lift and then go run. Like, I'd rather just run first, because the running was essentially, I mean, they had a little bit of a plan. Like, they called them agilities. We did that stuff. Like, there was some structure to it as well too. But really, it was like, we're just trying to make you puke. Like, somebody's gonna puke. Like, we want somebody to puke, and I puke.
Now you know where I get it from.
Somebody do it.
You know, there wasn't many times
I
that
didn't do my
puked,
job as a
but-
strength coach if somebody doesn't
But
puke.
their goal was definitely to make somebody puke every day. Like, that was part of it. And I think I just remember one time, I think, and honestly, the one time that I puked, it had nothing to do with anything outside. It was just I ate breakfast. I ate breakfast that morning.
Said yourself.
And that was the last time that I ate breakfast in my entire playing career before I went and worked out. Because I was like, this was terrible. And it wasn't even anything big. I think it was just like cereal, but it was
I puked
disgusting.
once or twice. It was mostly because I was up to no good the night before.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
if somebody threw
Super
up for our morning workouts, that was the excuse to have a day off. Like, we be excused from school. So our coach never tried to get that to happen. But our 3rd hour class,
Sure.
But yeah, no, it was, I mean, so in there, and then obviously I followed the same coaching staff, so I stayed with them. So like our workouts stayed relatively consistent. I mean, there wasn't a lot of difference that we had at all in college. Like, it was pretty much the same stuff. So I got super used to it. My body also got used to it too. So I wasn't really progressing in any form or fashion. I think my junior year, well, actually my sophomore year, so Baylor Parker and I were good buddies in college, and Levi, his brother, who runs the Narbell deal in El Dorado. Shout out to those guys. They're awesome. And he goes by Bob, but, they're like big powerlifting, you know, like, and you can go watch their stuff. Like, they're the 3 a.m. guys. Like, they're in there every single day, no matter the temperature. They don't have heat. Like, they are all about it. And, you know, those dudes are awesome, and different style of, you know, kind of what we do and how things are. But those guys are super strong, like, you know, and they're doing it for a lot of big picture reasons as well too, which is awesome. But those guys, actually, us three, back when I was a sophomore, like, we would always go and lift on our own. So my sophomore year was when I kind of, and I struggled my sophomore year playing wise. So like, it was just a battle. So like the gym was
Good
just
little
part of
outlet,
like,
yeah.
like I was just like, dude, I want to get better. Like find ways, whatever. So I would go lift with those dudes, and they were brothers, so I would go with them. They were super competitive with each other. Levi was the kind of the run of the group at that point in time. Like he was,
Not anymore.
sophomore in high school, so he was smaller than us, maybe a junior in high school, something like that. But, Baylor's strong. Like he's a strong dude then, probably still strong, super strong dude now, but we would lift together all the time. So I learned from them, just like different things so everything that we would do that morning, we would essentially try to do everything different in the afternoon when we went and lifted, right? Whether it was before or after practice, whatever. So
This
that's
is
kind
high
of
school or college?
college.
Okay.
So college was really when I started kind of like paying attention to like what I was doing in my free time. Like actually paying attention to, rep ranges, how much I'm doing of what, like making sure that I was getting enough, and it wasn't super in depth, but, just upper body, lower body was really kind of where we started based off of how our bodies felt from earlier in the day. Trying to just mix in as many of those 2-a-days as we could to try and kind of creep ourselves forward. And then when I transferred out to Hayes, when we were out there, our second baseman that was with us, Chris, he was kind of like, and for a while after college, he did like your bodybuilding and all of that stuff and like all the prep and all that. And so him and I lifted together in college outside of all of our regular stuff then too. And so him and I would do the same thing that me and Baylor would do at Butler was, we'd go lift on our own and do everything. And that's when my junior year in college was when I was like, I need to be stronger. Like I can do all the stuff defensively, but like offensively, I just did not have the confidence because I wasn't strong enough. And so that's when I started hitting it like really, really hard. And it was definitely more, bodybuilding mentality, like lift as heavy as you possibly can consistently. Now, worked out well because I was doing circuit training every single day. So my mobility wasn't
Balanced
really,
out.
I wasn't suffering as much as it would have because I was still running the same amount every single day, lifting the same circuit style stuff every single day. Like, I mean, we were doing that stuff while I was doing that. So I didn't feel a lot of mobility issues there. I mean, I gained a lot of weight, which is what helped me. And then, my numbers, not only in the weight room, but also on the ball field, I could tell a difference. Like my junior and senior year, my numbers popped. Like they went
Must be nice.
way, way higher. And it was just because I hit with more power. I was turning singles into doubles, like, started hitting it out more, like nothing crazy, just a few home runs a year, but nothing, but it was
Must
just a
be
lot more
nice.
consistent.
Natural, like that's why he's the best athlete in the room.
Nothing
There's a lot of
crazy.
natural things. His,
Yeah, it was
his
just
mom
all
gifted him
confidence.
some wonderful genes, except for height.
I didn't in
Short
college,
stuff.
but yeah, I mean, it
Couple
was
bombs a year,
okay. But yeah, it was just the lifting was a big piece of that because I wanted to be, I needed to get stronger, and I knew because I'd been in the same program for so long that circuit training ain't getting me any bigger. Like it's not, like I'm not actually getting stronger. And something that we always talk about, which I think
Why
is
are you
very,
yawning?
very prevalent, is we just tried to survive circuit training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we didn't actually try to like do anything right. Like, I mean, it was literally whatever machine I was on. Where's the coaches? You know, like, where are them bitches at? Like, all right, I'm gonna pause here for a second. Oh, he's looking. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Yeah, like, and everybody did that. Like, we were just trying to survive, And so that's why I always laugh. Like when we talk to our kids here in the program, I'm like, listen, dude, I know what you're doing at school. Like, I like
Yeah.
you guys. we've been
Don't-
through it.
don't-
Don't try to act
yeah.
like you're in there locked in on every rep and you're giving and some kids try harder than other kids. It's not a one size fits all, but yeah, I mean, so after that, like after college wise, like going into like day-to-day life here, I have kids now, so like my number one goal is just being mobile and being able to do whatever they're wanting me to do is a piece of it, but really I just want to be big. So like if Scout decides that she's going to try to date anybody early on, like there's going to be a figure there.
They won't. She won't. She
Yeah,
won't.
so like whatever little pipsqueak decides that he thinks that that's a good idea. One, God bless your soul. Good luck, because good luck. But
But then you have the two
Yeah.
uncles on this podcast that
Well,
would
you
show
just
up too.
you gotta
Just holler.
have some size about you to just
gotta-
make them rethink what they're thinking, and I know what they're thinking too. So
Yeah,
just gotta have a little size there to just a small deterrent to
Oh.
us in the thought process. You know.
Oh, so you must be wanting to date my daughter. And
Ah.
all of a sudden, Uncle Dave and Uncle Sean show up
There
too.
you go. See you in the gym,
Oh,
bud.
really?
Yeah.
Do you now?
But yeah,
Let's check your
Interesting.
fascial
yeah.
abilities.
But I do think like the stuff that
We'll
we've
see
changed recently over the year. I mean, when I got introduced to Parisi the first time, it was like just massive light bulbs going off. Like, holy moly! Like,
What?
Yeah, like I felt like I was robbed my collegiate career of, just information.
Maybe
And-
instead of a couple home runs, you would have
Yeah,
hit like 7 or 8 home runs.
There you go. But just knowing what we know now and just the better approach to it, it's just about stacking the days. 1% every day, like small little changes that you can compound over extended periods of time. That you stay consistent with it, you stay disciplined with it, and then you will see the results. I think everybody gets wrapped up in the quick results and trying to do
Oh,
something
well,
real fast.
There's
and,
another thing.
and that's a whole combo too. But yeah, I mean, I like what we're doing now, the functional basis behind it, rotational stuff. I mean, I think for the first time, like doing rotational work, I pulled a muscle, which I don't know that I've ever done that before. I don't even know if it's pulled, probably strained, but just it's a gentle reminder, I think, of like we're doing
Stay
new
consistent
things
with it. And,
Yeah, like, but
well, and
you're putting
really,
your body through
ultimately,
new
we're,
stuff too.
we're training to golf now.
That's exactly all that is. I was going to get to that. My ultimate goal is now to just golf consistently.
not one of
Not
the
actually do
Mon-
anything
Monday
with golf.
qualifier.
Yeah, probably not a Monday qualifier, but
Yeah,
you
probably
know,
not. But
just drive it 250 straight, number one,
Oh,
and
that'd be
then
nice.
just be able to hit that onto the green
I'll
afterwards.
give you 250. Won't be straight.
Well,
I might give you 280, 300. Won't be straight.
Yeah, the straight portion is what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean,
Um,
there's a lot of info. I mean, a lot of like you kind of hit it a little bit earlier. I mean, there's a plethora of different opinions and knowledges and sciences and just all kinds of different things out there. And I think all that stuff can be good. And you can definitely utilize it for a lot of things. But I also think that a lot of it becomes a bunch of noise and it becomes super annoying to try and be able to do all these different things when what we try to embody here is keep it simple. Don't try to overthink it more than it needs to be overthought. Like it,
Yeah.
and just do the simple things. And I try to take that into what you and I do on a day-to-day basis. And there's plenty of things that I could do better there, but time is always an issue with the sense of what we got going on every day and how we want to put it together and that type of stuff. So sometimes things get skipped. We do a little more here, a little less there, but the reality is as I've gotten older, you're still young, but like it's just about
for now.
compounding the days, like just a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit the next day, paying attention to the body, paying attention to what it's telling you, that type of stuff. I mean, my whole outlook compared to like my junior year in college when it was like, dude, I'm lifting everything as heavy as
Yeah.
humanly possible.
When your body can handle that a
Yeah,
little bit more
yeah.
too.
Compared to what we do now. I mean, I still try to lift heavyweight. Like, obviously, I think that's a piece of it, but it's not the say all end all. Like, it's not the
Yeah.
only thing that you should be doing, especially if you're trying to be functional. And
Well, it's tough
So
to let
wait,
go of that too.
Do you want to look big or feel big? Big difference.
those are the exact same thing to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Not different at all.
I gotta look big to feel big
Yeah.
in multiple. No, but I don't know. I guess you feel big when you lift heavy weights, and lifting heavy weights doesn't always translate to you looking big because a lot of times you got to cut some weight to look bigger. But
Right.
if we can get into that, but I didn't.
I just want to be strong. That's all I
Just want to be strong.
Just be
You want to
strong.
be strong and mobile. I think it's the biggest goal.
Yeah.
Especially for a dad who has to move around with his kids all the time and wants to be active as they grow up and want to do stuff. I encourage everybody out there who has kids to do the same thing. And I know it's tough. Like, it's nice for me. I work at a gym, so I can get my work in at any time. So if I don't get it in during the day because I slept in a little bit or
You set
got
your alarm at 5:45.
yeah, got busy with stuff, and I can still at the end of the day with whatever energy I have left, maybe bang out a quick 30, 45-minute workout, which kind of leads me into the last little part here. Try to keep this quick, but try and do or two different things. With all the information that is available, obviously with everything else on like the socials and the medias and everything, it gets really divisive. And if you're like kind of scoping out the scene there, I would recommend you not like get so caught up in this one thing and this is how you do it and this is the perfect way to train, because it's just not true. We think here there is maybe not perfect, but there is a much better way to train athletes as opposed to some other ways. But at every stage of your life, it's probably going to be different. There are people who are really into powerlifting and want to do competitions in powerlifting, and they have to move a lot of weight with good form, the correct form for powerlifting. There are bodybuilders who want to either, maybe they're an influencer, maybe you're trying to do that thing, or maybe you're just trying to look good. Maybe it's getting to summertime, you want to get that, nice looking shirtless figure going, whatever. Or you compete in that as well. And then that's your passion. That's your goal. That's great. Then there's people who want to be more functional. And they tried bodybuilding and they tried powerlifting and maybe they got stronger. Maybe they looked a little bit better, but they were super stiff because they weren't holistically bringing it all together. Because of time management, maybe they had time. They were more focused on lifting as opposed to getting ready to lift due to their time management. So now they're only doing kettlebells, or they're doing band work, or they're just doing sprints. Maybe they're running distance, which I don't recommend if you want to like look good and be strong, but to each their own. That's what makes you feel good. That's what makes you feel better. That's great, because the biggest thing is to move. What happens when we stop moving is that's when we get unhealthy. You can get away with being a little unhealthy. You don't have to be perfectly healthy every single day to feel all right. You can indulge a little bit on this food or drink a little bit more one night or whatever and still feel healthy because you are moving, because it sounds cliche, but that's the best medicine. And then, there's ways of fitness I don't necessarily agree with, but I still take pieces of, like CrossFit. I don't really agree with. I have a lot of family who does CrossFit and it works for them and they love it. And that's like their passion. That's great, because that's their way they stay consistent, stay moving. I don't agree with everything about it, but at the same time, I'll still take pieces of that and incorporate it, because there is some good foundational, good pieces of that, some circuit type stuff that you can apply to athletes, like in my line of work, as well, or just myself, my own fitness journey. So, don't get so caught up in this is the perfect way to do it. This is the perfect way to do it. Different stages of your life. Honestly, the best thing you could do for your body is switch things up over and over again. So your body, your central nervous system continues to get switched up on, doesn't start guessing, doesn't, like Sheldon said, he was doing circuit workout all the time. And eventually you're just doing it and you're not like improving your body anymore. So you got to switch things up to see that those results continue to move forward. And like Ben Ketley said, body motion stays in motion. It's a good comment right there.
There you go.
But yeah, so just move any way you can. If you have 20 minutes a day, if you have 10 minutes a day, you have 30 minutes. If you have 10 minutes a day, just stretch. Like don't get so caught up in the perfect way to do things. Don't get caught up in these battles between people calling each other out with how terrible everything else is and their way is perfect, because it's not true. So everybody has their different schedules. Everybody has their different ways of different times of the day to work out. And sometimes some things take long. Not everybody has 2 hours a day to do a good powerlifting workout, because it takes a little bit longer because you got to get your rest time in for that. And then not everybody wants to do that many reps because they don't have the capacity to do that many reps for like bodybuilding, but you can blend it together. You can do a little bit of both. You can do your own thing. You can do functional training. Don't get caught up.
Don't get caught up in the influencers.
Sure. Follow them, take pieces of it from them, but you don't have to,
I don't know.
Just do something.
Don't worship them,
Do something.
Yeah. Move, do something.
Move.
Lift
That's a
some
Nike
weights.
ad, I think.
Yep. play 60.
Just move. Just do it.
You ever see that, the Cam Newton commercial, Play 60, where the little kid's like, I'm about to take your job.
Yeah.
Warming up his arm. Everybody says that's Brock Purdy.
Dude,
Or
they said it was
Baker
They
Mayfield.
said it was Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield warming up again. I'm about to take your job.
Yeah.
Baker, not Brock Purdy.
All right. Well, let's tie this
you
thing
love
up.
glazing Brock Purdy and bring him into anything.
only because you hate him and you love
Uh,
bringing
You
so-
got to bring him into a commercial. He wasn't even
So-
born yet.
So Sean did a lot of talking.
I was bored.
for this episode, which is awesome. But today, Sheldon, do you mind leading us in prayer so
Sure.
he can take a break?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
No.
Sean's like, wait,
No, that's Sean's
wait.
job.
That's funny.
Before
All right.
we get into it, though, did have a verse to read.
Oh,
or
go
two.
ahead. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
lead
And
it.
then-
You're
and then-
fine.
You can
and
do
then,
the-
and then
you can do
Sheldon's
the
gonna
whole
pray.
thing.
You're fine.
No. Sheldon, you're gonna do it, whether you like it or not. I just had a
Oh,
verse.
man, it sounds like stairs.
Should I just open up to a random?
It looks like you are. Yeah.
I knew what I was going to do.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to read
Got it.
Ephesians 2, 1 through 10. And you were dead in the trespasses and sins in which you once walked, following the course of this world, following the prince of the power of the air, the spirit that is now at work in the sons of disobedience, among whom we all once lived in the passions of our flesh, carrying out the desires of the body and the mind, and were by nature children of wrath like the rest of mankind. But God, being rich in mercy, because of the great love with which he loved us, even when we were dead in our trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you have been saved, and raised us up with him, and seated us with him in the heavenly places in Christ Jesus, so that in the coming ages he might show the measurable riches of his grace in kindness towards us in Christ Jesus. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not by your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. Take it
Wonderful.
away.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, I just wanted to say thank you again for another day, allowing us to come together, be able to share our experiences, and just, have a voice in this world. And hopefully that voice reaches people and helps them. Just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity in doing that. Please, guide us, prevent us from, wild thoughts, different things that are moving around in this world. Help us come together, help us to stay strong, look over our community and the people that are around us, those that are close to us. There's a lot of people out there battling a lot of things, and we just want to make sure that you're with them, know that we're trying to be with them, and do what we can do on a day-to-day basis to continue to help everyone that we come in contact with. In your great name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, that's it for episode 76, our fitness journeys, age gaps and everything that bring new technology to the world of fitness. It's also what we do here at Wichita Parisi. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
You should have started with a Southern.